everyone. I am Davide Gonfalonieri. I am the founder of Sellomics and Lab4Paws. And I'm incredibly happy that we are starting now this channel. And it will be a nice but challenging adventure also for us. And this comes as a result of a quite long journey. In the past 10 years, I've been supporting the life science industry and the biotech industry and the development of new drugs, therapies, medicaments, new diagnostic solutions. And there are certain trends in the industry that are kind of difficult to oversee, but nonetheless, there's little that is really not done about it, but at least implemented and get into reality. And one of these is the change away from animal studies, the implementation of 3D, advanced 3D cultures, and all of this is a really interesting field, really controversial also on the ethical perspective, and this is something where obviously the future lies in science. So my journey starts approximately, I don't know, 15 years ago probably, when I started, with my bachelor's and master's in biotechnology, tissue engineering, and already there I was starting with, let's say, some of the classical things. Apart from the molecular biology stuff, most of the experiments were also done in animals. So learning how to deal with animals and in animal studies was part of the day-to-day experimental practice, so to say. And this never really started with me. This carried on later in the in my further studies, in my masters, and also using animals during the PhD. But I was in a way getting more conscious of the fact that more and more scientists wanted to move away from animal studies because of different reasons, because of animal welfare and in general, from personal ethical reasons, because they were seeing their pets at home and were not really able to rationalize what's the difference between one and the other. And on the other side, also on a business perspective, from pharma companies, they are investing a lot of money, sometimes millions and billions, in developing new therapies, getting a lot of experiments, a lot of work into it, and then just realizing that, and this is kind of known in the practice, we are not mice. It's like 70 kilos of mice. So sometimes making a comparison between human and an animal is really, really difficult. But there's kind of a missing link there. There's still a missing link. And in some countries are a little bit farther in the journey comparing to the European Union, maybe. So if we are looking at the US and what the FDA is doing, removing at least partially the obligation to use animals for the access to the clinical studies, this is really good, obviously, but it's a first step. The real step is the actual implementation, and to actually implement this step, then scientists would need to have the tools to make the right decisions, because as just removing animal studies from the equations doesn't really it's not really enough. It's not really enough to guarantee that the humans afterwards will be safe. So you need to implement a series of testing procedures, a lot of models, to make sure that actually the drugs that you're developing or the therapies that you're developing are safe and effective. So here is why we funded this channel, and for us it's also an integral part of the company, because we decided to take the thing into our hands and make sure that we also deliver to researchers, but also to the public, the tools and information needed to make this kind of step. And so this is a little bit also the aim of this channel. So who is this channel for? This channel is on one side for the scientists that are working in the development of human medicaments. They would like to learn a little bit more about what are the alternatives. So we will talk about alternatives to animal testing, looking at the different models that are available there in the market and the ones that are under development. We were talking about some strategies, how to bridge the gap, how to optimize. So it's not just about replacing. In science, we're talking about the 3 R's: replacing, refining, and reducing the amount of animal studies. So it's not about replacing them completely, but also about refining, making sure that we choose the correct animal models for our studies. So this is also one of the things that we will talk about. On the other side, we want also to address some of the topics that are going towards animal health scientists. So all the scientists that are working to develop, study, and to develop therapies and study the development of therapeutic, diagnostic approaches for animals. So being those the companion animals, being those other kind of animals, cattle or horses or farm animals in general. And last but not least, this is also done for the general public, for you, maybe just you, just sitting there on the couch and maybe doesn't really have a clue about what's going on in the lab when talking about animal studies. So sometimes you hear things from TV, from television, from radio, from some demo maybe in the streets. But have you ever been in a lab from the inside? Have you ever, listened to a scientific presentation and trying to understand what are the scientists doing to actually reduce, replace, refine the animal studies, and what is the future? So if you are interested into this, and welcome to the channel, welcome to the Lab4Paws channel, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next videos. Bye bye.